You may hear noise in the background, and it's because my good friend is watching 90 Day Fiancé. But you know what I saw and want to talk about is company. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Care Off Book, where I'm watching performances. We talk about it. I forgot how my intro usually goes, but I didn't forget my name. My name is Care Darling, but you could call me Care. That's not even how the intro goes. It's Carolyn, darling, but you could call me Care. Ay, ay, ay. As a lot of you know, I live in the San Francisco area, and so we have SF Broadway. And what came to our town was company. So this musical is on tour, and to pretty much let you know, I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I think it was fantastic. So, and now I'll get into the details of why I think this musical is wonderful and yada yada. But there were a couple things that I was a little like, about. And the reason is this company, there is a huge gender swap. So if you were following me on this channel, you know that I finally watched more like the concert version with Neil Patrick Harris, Patti LuPone. I mean, it was Stephen Colbert. That man made me weep. Like, he was just so good, and I did not expect that. So instead of the main character Bobby being a single man, it is now Bobby, a single woman. And there are other things too that they gender swap. I'll do my best to try and go into each couple. Overall, I don't think it gave the payoff that they think that the payoff happened. That didn't make any sense, but it did to me. The only couple that I thought was successful, you guess which couple that I thought it was successful. But let's get into this show. Now, this show is a Steven Sondheim show, and I have to say, whenever there's a Sondheim musical or anything like that, I love it. I love his musicals because it makes me, of course, think about these characters, but then I start thinking of myself through these characters because I put the pathetic and empathetic. But it makes me start thinking about, especially this musical, it makes me think about who I was when I was single, who I was as a friend, who I was, dating, married now, and how do I behave now as a married woman for, my single friends and things like that. So to see this musical now come back and almost through a different perspective because they are switching gender roles and things like that. Again, it had the same effect on me where it's like interesting now that we're seeing it in reverse. Anyways, let's get into the characters. So Bobby, oh my gosh, she was so good. In my head, I think this role would be great for those who can do a gorgeous mix, but they have to have a lot of singing chops because I felt like she was belting the whole time. But then there were moments where I was like, I mean, if you're belting the whole time, it kind of takes away the significance of why you would sing it loud like that versus being able to go soft at times. But overall, excellent. First couple, let's go Harry and Sally. Now, this was my favorite couple when it was Stephen Colbert, and I forgot what her name was, but when they did, I thought it was so good. And in the musical, these two did not switch. I thought that was maybe a good call. And as far as how it was performed, though, I did find it a bit too, oh my gosh, don't make fun of me. I found it a bit like theater, but not in a good way. Oh my gosh, so sorry. What I mean is, like, I get that they were performing it big for the audience, but this was already big because they start getting into, their little fight. And the whole point is this fun or is this not? Is this serious? Or like, are they taking their aggressions out on each other? I can't tell. Or is this all like in good jest with each other? Hence, Joanna comes out going, I felt like they were really hamming it up. And I wish that this scene was more portrayed like a tightrope, where it's like you find yourself uncomfortable, but yet you're laughing, and the way that, Stephen Colbert and what they did, I thought that was perfection. So of course, when you see something that you felt was perfect, it's hard to, how do you beat perfect? Listen, I'm gonna be honest. The other couples, I was like, okay, sure, we're just going through the scenes. There wasn't really anything to me that I was like, oh, this is really significant and interesting because of A, B, and C. And something I thought was interesting to me, I don't know if anyone who has seen the sort of revival company, I felt that everybody was attracted to Bobby when it was a girl. Like even the girls were into her, the guys were into her. When it was Neil Patrick Harris, when it was a guy doing Bobby, I felt a sense like maybe there was one girl that was like, we could have been something, but we're just friends. And then the women were more like, oh, I worry about you. I just want you to find someone, be good. Well, the guys are like, freedom, don't get married, Bobby, kind of things. But with this, I found myself liking the original more, and it made sense to me, but it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the take that the revival was doing. Because I think the most successful thing they did was when they created Amy into Jamie and that wedding scene. Because let me tell you, the line where Jamie says to Paul, I love that I'm remembering their names, but the line where he says, just because we can get married doesn't mean we have to. That was heavy to hear. And you could just, everything got quiet in that theater where it was like silent gasps or like, because of course, thinking of the struggle of even to get that right and how much they had to fight to just do it. And then this comes out of Jamie. I was like, dang, compared when Amy says it, it's kind of funny, right? Like just because we can doesn't mean we have to. And I think people took it as more lighthearted, but when it was Jamie though, it was a bit, it got my heart where I was like, oh my gosh, like how do you come back from that? Now the single guys, all the single guys, again, so cool. Their intro, the do, amazing. I loved it. I thought they sounded so good, so suave. But then their roles come out, they have their scenes, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. And it didn't hit. Like even the I think they called him the pilot, where I was like, it would have been funny if he continued to be a steward and stuff, like how, in the original it's a stewardess and she's not the most bright, but that maybe it was just the delivery, because I believe it was Christina Hendricks. She was amazing, and I loved her delivery in her scene.
Stories don't follow. I don't see the connection. Oh. Unless you thought of that poor girl as the wounded butterfly.
But then when it was the guy, it wasn't charming. It wasn't like a Joey in Friends where it's like, he's our idiot, we still love him. To me, it was like, oh gosh, sir, like, why is, like, I felt like Bobby's friend where I'm like, I get it, he's attractive, but girl, what are you doing? So as far as those guys, again, it was good, but then I felt like it was more of the delivery and performance that I was like, something just didn't feel complete for me with these characters. Oh, and I also, I want to talk to Patti LuPone because I can. Because when she played the role of Joanna, she did both, right? She's done it the OG kind of cast way, and she's done the revival way. And I wonder what she thinks about what made the scene more powerful with Joanna. In the scene with Joanna, Bobby is sort of lost in the sense of trying to find someone, getting older, and Joanna is with this person that is Lloyd. They didn't gender switch that, sorry. She's with Lloyd, who is there. He's not going away. He's there for her, but clearly it's almost as if she is waiting for him to break her heart. That's kind of what I was feeling a lot of times. And that's why I thought it was so beautiful when Lloyd says, I can't wait for you to meet the real Joanne. And I was like, that's beautiful and whatever. So in the original, Joanne says to Bobby, he goes to the gym, let's have an affair, right? Which puts Bobby in a place of like, wait, you're kidding. Oh my gosh. And then it propels to her thinking that she helped him. By the way, if you're a fan of Company, can you help me out here? I still don't understand what Joanne thinks she did for Bobby, because she's like, I just helped him. And I'm like, are you drunk, Joanne? Go home, because this then goes into the song Being Alive. And to this day, even though I've watched it multiple times, I keep wondering to myself, what was the lesson? What was the thing she thinks that she taught him? So back to my Patti LuPone question that I have. I want to know which she found more powerful. Is when Bobby is a boy and she says, come with me and have an affair with me. Or when Bobby's a girl, she says, Lloyd's available, tomorrow he'll be by himself. You should go have an affair with him. And I think when it was done that way, it was more of like, what the heck, Joanne? Like, are you okay? Or what is up with this? You always seem to be this confident person, and this insecurity just does not look good on you. And it's like, okay, maybe it does make sense more. It's like, okay, you want me to have this affair, but what do I get? What do I get? Like, I don't get love. I don't get this, whatever. And it's like, I helped you. How'd you help, Joanne? I'm totally lost here, by the way. But I guess to me, I think it was more powerful when it was Joanne trying to have power in the situation, because maybe she felt she's losing power because she does love Lloyd and he's there. And for her to kind of let her walls down and whatever, it puts her in a very vulnerable place that she doesn't want to be in. Therefore, she's drunk enough. She's like, we can have an affair. Let's do it. Why not? And stuff. So I found that one more powerful and like, oh, versus when Bobby's a girl. That's my take. But listen, I'd love to hear yours and your thoughts. I love this musical. I think this musical is fun. It's interesting. I feel like that's all of Stephen Sondheim's musicals, where it makes me just start thinking about life and myself. If you don't know, Into the Woods is my favorite musical. I could watch that musical over and over, and there will be something new or something that someone does in a performance where I'm like, and I know things now, because there's always really interesting interpretations of growing up and wanting to get our wish, but is it really the wish we want, and yada yada. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. Listen, I'm gonna go see Despicable Me 4 because I am a grown child and I can't wait to come back here and talk to you, because I don't know, I haven't seen a Despicable Me movie I did not enjoy and have a lot of fun. So I'm excited. And then of course, Shrek 5 was announced. Now, there are Shrek movies I did not enjoy. I think it was the King Arthur one where I was like, and I haven't seen the Rumpelstiltskin. So who knows? But I think it's a good time and I can't wait. Anyways, darlings, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about Company. And again, please, what was it that Joanne taught Bobby? Help me with this, please. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and then I'll see you in the next video. Take care, darling.